Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to talk about art journaling, and it's one of my most favorite things to do, and it is actually a group that I co-facilitate with my colleague Sarah Jones. So what is art journaling, which is a question I get a lot from people. What the heck is that? I'm not creative, I'm not inclined to use watercolor and stuff like that. And the good news is that you don't have to have any experience, zero experience, which is awesome. So art journaling really is the same thing as journaling in your notebook. The only difference is that it incorporates patterns and shapes and pictures and just really anything that doesn't have to be words, although it has words in it too. And it's a way to express yourself in a more childlike way than just simply writing words on a piece of paper. So really why I love to do this is because there's something about moving a paintbrush or moving a marker or moving a crayon that really brings out this side of me that I remember to be the most joyful parts of my life, like when I was a child. And it reminds me that we're all makers, that, whether you're a maker of food, you're a maker of, beautiful photos, you're a maker of a beautiful family, you're a maker of coming up with beautiful outfits. We're all creative, we're all makers, and being creative doesn't just mean paint and colors and watercolor. It means so much more than that. So I'd love to show you an activity that I do with my groups that is kind of fun. So join me. Okay, so we're gonna do an activity called permission slips. And this isn't an activity that I created myself. It's actually from the curriculum by Brene that she created. So really what I like, the kind of like the basics of what is helpful for me to have during art journaling, and it can be different for everyone, is paint brushes. I think I got these at Walmart for like $2. Paint. This fun one has like a cool, it's got a bunch of different colors, and you can tell that this has been used a lot. But I think I got this on Amazon. And I'll link everything below so you guys can see what I use. But a nice little cup of water, a art journal. This, I swear by these things. They are the Canson mixed media notebooks, and they're 7x10, 98 pounds. I think they're like $4 at Walmart. I buy these in bulk often because we use them for our art journaling group, which is really fun. So it's pretty thick paper. And so basically this activity is something we often start with in our groups. We really invite people to think about what do they need to give themselves permission to do in order to be in the room. Maybe you're going through a difficult time in your relationship. Maybe work is really hard and you're having a hard time with your boss. Maybe, you're having struggles with your mom or a sister, any difficult situation in your life. Oftentimes we need to give ourselves permission to be a certain way in order to walk into those situations. So what we do is we invite our group members to write permission slips at the beginning of every group, but in a creative way. So here's an example of an activity. I have actually done a million watercolor classes because I think at one point in my life I thought I was going to do watercolor as a professional, but clearly that didn't happen. So here we are. But anyway, I was taught that you should wet the page with water, that you should completely cover the page with water, and then after the page was wet, that you pick your shade or you pick your color and you kind of douse that shade in a lot of watercolor. I can show you, and really make it damp. Once it's damp, you take your brush and you just like let it flow. And if you see, having both water in the paint and on the paper, it makes it kind of flow differently. So that's how I do it. So again, we're doing permission slips, but the idea is that group members spend about 10 minutes creating this. And they're not just writing words on a piece of paper. They're really getting creative about it. And some art journaling members, they like to use stickers. They like to use, I'm trying to move the paint. This is also a fun trick I learned, is that the paint will move and kind of run down if you add more water to it. It's kind of fun to see it all come together. So anyway, there's no right way to do it. It's just paint, whatever. I like to do both sides because you need some time for this to dry. And surprisingly, this paper and watercolor dries really, really quickly, which is kind of nice. So I'm gonna use this fun green one because my sweatshirt is green and I'm feeling in the green mood, I guess. So just fun. These are just techniques I've learned, and I'll share some cool resources with you at the end of this to tell you, if you're in the Austin area or if you're not in the Austin area, some fun classes and books and things you can look up to help you have fun with this, because I think it's really cool. So just getting the base of my pages kind of colored and covered and kind of nice, because I want this to be my base. I want this to be my layer that I build upon. All right, so my pages are colored. You see that kind of buffs up because it's super wet. This is still kind of wet. But basically what I'm gonna do is, this is kind of my layer. This is my foundation. And I like to use a pencil at the beginning because it's not so solid. It doesn't come out so prominent like a Sharpie does. And so now I'm gonna think about, what do I need to give myself permission to do in order to tape these videos? Because this is hard, I've never done this before. So I'm gonna write a couple, okay? Let's see. You can also dab it with a piece of paper if it's still super wet and you don't feel like it's completely dry and you need it to be dry a little bit faster. Kind of adds a little pattern to it, you know, kind of cool. I'm gonna write permission to be nervous. To be silly. To have fun. To feel scared. And to do it anyway. So those are my permission slips: to be silly, to have fun, to do it anyway, permission to be nervous, and to feel scared. That's what I need to give myself permission to do in order to do these videos. So once I've done it in pencil, you see you can barely see them. And again, like, this is not super dry, and ideally I'd wait for it to be dry so that it can come out better. But what I like to do, and you can do any color, is go with a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, and kind of write over it so that it shows up more. There's no right or wrong way to do your permission slips. This is just one way. This is an example of art journaling and one way you can do it. But people just have so many creative ideas, and it's kind of fun to watch it all happen. Just kind of going and writing over. People put glitter on it. They kind of just go to town. So those are my permission slips. This is an example of one of the activities we do in group. We do this, we revisit permission slips really at the beginning of every group because I think it's a fun way to kind of center yourself and really get intentional about why you're there. And I also do this in individual therapy based on, you know, what the client's needs are, but it's kind of fun. Thanks for doing that. I hope you guys had fun. I wanted to share some groups that I have coming up, and I'm going to kind of read to you so I can tell you the exact dates. But one group is an adult group. It's a 10-week art journaling group based on Brene Brown's book, Daring Greatly. So if you haven't read it or don't know what it is, I encourage you to watch her TED Talk, which is The Power of Vulnerability. It's got like over 1 million views. And read her book, Daring Greatly, and I'll also link that below in the notes. But that group starts on January 18th, and it will be on Thursdays from 4 to 5:30 here at our office in Austin. I co-facilitate that with my dear friend Sarah Jones, who's also a therapist and also certified in Brene's work. And it's always a fun group. I think this is like the 5th or 6th time we've done it. Really powerful. Every group session has a creative activity and also verbal processing time with other group members, and it moves me every time I learn something new. So that will happen. And then I'm having a 10-week creative series group for teenagers. So that'll also be really fun. It'll incorporate a lot of Brene's curriculum and just working on healthy relationships, social anxiety, you know, a lot of self-worth, a lot of, you know, just difficulties that teens go through. And we'll incorporate photography, we'll incorporate art, we'll incorporate music, writing, poems, all kinds of stuff. So that starts February 6th, and that'll be on Tuesdays from 6 to 7:30 here at my office space. So those are the 2 groups that we have coming up. I hope that this kind of gave you a taste of what we do in group, and it's just really a taste because group is phenomenal. It's kind of fun. So reach out to me if you want to join that group or you have questions. And now I'd love to share some great resources with you. So a couple of things that I'd like to share with you that have been really special for me is these books. There's a couple of books. This is Rising Strong. This is Brene's 4th book, I think. 4th book. And we do a group on this one, but not yet. And then this is Daring Greatly. So this is the book that we base our art journaling group off of, the one that's happening in January. So I'll again link this. You can buy this on Amazon. Another really great book if you're really trying to kind of get back into creativity and maybe lost your way. Maybe you used to be a knitter, maybe you used to take pictures, maybe you used to paint, but you kind of just haven't done it. You've dropped the paintbrush or you've dropped your camera and haven't picked it up in a long time. Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, really is so powerful, and it really helps you get back into, you know, really engaging in that creative side of yourself. So that's also a great book, Big Magic. Her podcast, Big Magic, is also really awesome. And then Mint and Maple is it's a woman, Natalie Coulter. She lives here in Austin, and she developed this really cool thing on Kickstarter, and it's called the Mint and Maple Art Journaling. It's like an art journaling package, and I can't remember how much it is, but I'll link it below. You can buy it, and she sends you an art journal. She sends you a pack of paints, kind of very similar to this. She sends you paintbrushes, she sends you pencils, she sends you a marker. She sends you everything you need to do an art journal for like under $100, I think. It's a fun way to get started. I bought one for myself, of course I did, and so I'll link that, and feel free to buy that if you can. Go to thedaringway.com where you can find loads of groups and the things that people around the world are doing based on Brene Brown's stuff. And then her book, Brene Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, we also do an art journaling group based on that book. We won't do one this semester, but look out for that one coming up. And I think that's all, guys. Feel free to reach out if you have questions or if you want to join one of our groups. I'd be happy to talk more with you. Bye.